So this morning's our last day on the water and we're being lifted out this morning. We're not too sure exactly what time because David's got quite a few boats to lift out. So we're just out on the river. We've just fueled up so that the tanks are full, which is how you leave them so they don't get condensation over winter. And then we're just waiting for the lock, which is over there, the boat in it just coming down and out. And then we'll be in and tying up to the quay, ready for the crane. Here's the girl ready to go. We're just waiting for lunch to finish, and when everybody comes back to work, she'll be put on the crane, and then they'll bring in a cradle into here and they'll take her into the yard. In the meantime, we are unloading her of all her things and we're staying in the gîte, so getting all our gear off, which is good. There's the storage lockers we have underneath the couch, but then you can see how much room we have under here. It's just masses of room. That's where we've been storing all our suitcases and the cover for the boat. So just getting it all out so we can start packing away. So she doesn't look too bad, no big dings and scratches from our journey, so that's a really good thing. I'm just going to water blast her and then we'll be in the yard. So they've parked us. We're very close to all these bricks just at the back, so I don't know how we're going to get our ladder up there. And we're extremely close to the other boat, but that's all good. Don't have much choice, so it's all good. They like to park you nice and close to the next boat. So just cleaned the waterline and Tony's taken all the fenders off. And he's now taking all the ropes off, and we're going to go and soak them and get them all nice and clean so they can be stored away. So if you watched last week's vlog, you will know that we had an issue with a leak up in our forward cabin, and Tony had to break up all this concrete to get it out of the hole before we could even find the leak. And then we finally found where it was. It was a little bolt that was under the waterline, this one here. And so this week we're dealing with that now that it's out of the water. So we're back in the forward cabin. Tony has drilled a little hole here and made a tube to go so it can drain, so the water can get away, and he has resin coated all of this area. And now he has just gone outside and I've got to hold this and he's going to try and undo this bolt. Yay. There it is, the hole. So the bolt has all been glued back in with silicone and poo, and we've done a bit of resining and strengthened it all up. It's all good. So this is where the boat was leaking. It was in this little plug here that Tony has now fixed, but the plug was missing and it wasn't sealed properly, so he's pulled it out as we've done, and now he's tied it all up and made it all nice. So it's good, no more leak, yay. So Tony has replaced the board, the bulkhead in the front, and glued that all in, and he's just going to EV-dure it all, make sure it's all nice and strong. So while we're up here fixing things, Tone's just gone into the anchor locker, and that didn't have any way of the water to get out, and obviously when it rains the water comes in through the hole, so he's just put a couple of holes for outlets, and we'll put some hull fittings in there. And he's been and got timber and made a new floor again, but this time we're not going to use the sealer that we bought at the shop. We're going to actually use the EV-dure resin, which we know works, but it's just so expensive over here, but we've got some and we're going to do it properly. And he has EV-dured the boards for the floor again, so they're all nice and new, and there should be no problems from now on. So while Tony has been busy working on the boat, I have been busy doing the curtains again. So they were really good, but we really want to get rid of the defer the heat. So I have just got a roll of this silver foil and have just lined all the curtains with this. The good old sewing machine is working really well, and it's just been so much easier having the gite to be able to work on. So that's what I've been up to. And I've just made this curtain, which we didn't have, as I've used the one from the front because that didn't fit, so I'm using it for this one. So this morning I'm just off to the bakery, obviously, to get our morning goodies, and then to the supermarket to get a whole lot of handy towels. Tony's going to be doing the stern gland today, repacking that, and the rudder gland, so he needs lots of rags, and we've run out of rags. So, but it's definitely getting cooler in the mornings now. It's actually quite pleasant. Just been to the supermarket and got some veggies and bits and pieces. I must admit, one thing I have to make note of is that France, any produce that they produce in their own country, it's a lot cheaper. So if you've got grapes from France and then you've got grapes from wherever, Chile or wherever, they'll be like half the price. It's so much better to buy their own country's produce, which is such a great way of keeping their economy going. It's fantastic. I think we should all be doing something like that. Tony has been going to be repacking the stern gland today. So yesterday he used this tool here, which is like a great big corkscrew, to get out the old packing bit of it, and then bought some new packing yesterday, so because everything's shut being Sunday, and he's going to put that back in to the gland today. Tony has been watching hundreds of video YouTube clips to work out how to do this, and it's going to be good. Just making sure your join's not the same place.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's much better, isn't it?
Yeah, put 4 in it.
Mm-hmm. So once Tony had put in the 4th one, then it was just a matter of putting the brass end piece on, getting the bolts back in, and then putting a little lock nut on either side, but making sure that's all nice and even so you don't warp your shaft. And then the job was done. Fantastic. So we've been invited out to lunch over to the campground, so we're just cycling over. Not too sure quite how to get there, but we'll work it out. Bit of fun and something nice. So we're just cycling along the riverway down to the campground. So that's it for this week. Thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. We've got one more week before we get on the plane to go home. A bit sad, but and it'll be a very hard reality to come back to, but it's been fantastic. So next week we've just got a few more jobs on the boat that we want to get done. Might have an odd day out, which would be nice, but yeah, we'll see you next week. Bye.